G'day viewers, my name's Graham Stevenson and I'd like to invite you to come on a journey of creativity and learning and adventure through the series Colour in Your Life. There's an artist in every family throughout the world, and lots of times there's an artist deep down inside all of us as well. So grab your kids, your brothers, your sisters, your aunties, uncles and mums and dads and come and see how some of the best artists do what they do. Okay guys, well welcome back to Colour in Your Life. Well, we are down in Victoria, down in a place called Yinnar, and it's a very rainy, cold, wet Victorian day. You can probably hear the rain outside. And I'm with a fabulous pastel artist, Mr. David Alldridge. David, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Fantastic to be here. Your background was within photography and you really learnt through your wedding photography.
Yes.
A great love for the art as you went along. But you love animals and wildlife. You love the natural surroundings, your landscapes. You've got a particular fascination about frogs as well.
Frogs, yes.
Yeah, tell me about the frogs.
It started from when I was 3.
Yeah.
My mum discovered that I was saving frogs from my dad trying to use them as bait.
Oh, is that right?
So I rescued the frogs and I had a frog for 7 years as a pet.
Yeah.
And just photographed them all the time.
Yeah.
And then I started drawing them.
But you really are very much involved with wildlife itself. You work with a couple of different organisations as well.
Yes.
You're actually, we'll show some pictures of this as we go along, giant mural. I mean, what's it, 35 metres?
35 metres, yes.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about that.
That's with a place called Mount Rothwell, where they rebreed, or breed, our endangered species.
Great.
And I just fell in love with the little critters and asked if I could draw them. And then they commissioned me to do a mural for them.
But you're actually doing a portrait for us today.
Yes.
And as I said, David, landscapes, animals, portraiture is really well-rounded in just about all of that. I'm going to step out of shot, as I normally do, and I'm going to let David continue on and show you his process with putting this together. And it's a very, very talented man. You can have a great day. So let me get out. I'm going to go and sit beside the fireplace. We'll see you soon. Okay, David, so reading your resume, you, particularly with your pastels, you tell me that you're a full blender.
Yes.
So can you explain that?
I like to get photorealism with what I create, and for me the blending creates it to more realism. I use both hands when I'm creating a piece, and this hand here is what I blend with. So I actually put the pastel onto my fingers, and it kind of primes my fingers so they're not as wet, greasy or something, and now they're completely dry. I will start from top left here, use the width of the pastel, just kind of mad colour it in for a little while, roughly knowing where I'm going. And then with this hand, that's where I blend and smooth.
Okay.
See, to me now that's blended spot on. And I'll just pick up a white. I've got 2 different sizes here as well, because like the white one here allows huge coverage. Same thing. I'm not too bothered what this looks like at first.
Yeah.
And now with this fantastic paper here, having, like you can see this harsh line there, using like the circle motion of the hand, it's blending both of those 2 colours together where I can't now see a line.
That's great. And the gentleman that you're actually drawing today, do you know this man?
Yes, he's an old client of mine. Well, when I say old, he's not old. I used to maintain their gardens, and they've got a fantastic property with cattle, horses and everything, and I saw this photo and I just had to draw it.
Okay.
One of his daughters, I've actually drawn her portrait as well. She's mad keen into horses, and her hair, I love drawing hair, and her hair, that when I was drawing that one, was a huge challenge, which is one of the things I like to do with my work, is the challenge.
Yeah, and you've got another one that you did called Stacey. Now, we spoke about this before we started filming. It was a great story.
Yes.
About a young lass that was very shy, withdrawn. You basically helped her get through her depression.
Yes, the piece is actually called Letting Go.
Yep.
It was something where she needed to let go of something of her past, and it blended the colour into the black and white, so the colour is coming back into her life.
That's
and
great.
Seeing how positive and happy she is now, it gives you goosebumps.
That's great. Well, that's what the gift of art is meant to do, whether you do it yourself or you give it to other people.
Yes.
Now, I think the fact that it's absolutely pouring rain outside, your frogs.
Yes.
You've got this amazing fascination with frogs, but you've got one called Self, and you're actually in the picture, aren't you?
Yes, you can see me in the pupil of the frog when I took the photo.
You've got another one called Growling Grass Frog. These are
Yes.
great pictures, they really are. They're fabulous frog pictures. But I've noticed with a lot of your work as well, it's sort of very
Yes.
long horizontal work. Is there a reason that you do that?
My first exhibition was in a little town in South Gippsland called Meeniyan.
Yeah.
And the curator down there told me to go big.
Yeah.
So I started this panoramic series of the animals, and like doing frogs panoramic was just brilliant.
Yeah.
The fun part is the actual photographing of it as well.
Yeah.
Getting these little creatures to stand still while I have a photo shoot.
Yeah, but you started out with pencils when you were a kid.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
I was given a set of the Derwent pencils because I could get phenomenal detail and the brightness of colour from them. It took a long time to do. I couldn't do a piece this large with the pencil because it just took too long.
Yeah.
And I would actually, to get the background like I'm doing now, I would grind the lead with a sharpener and then smudge it with my finger, but it just took so long and the pencils just wore out so fast. And then I discovered these little beauty things, the pastels. I use these, like the Rembrandt pastels. I also use these Faber-Castell Pit Pastel pencils, and they're brilliant for like phenomenal detail.
So why do you use Rembrandt pastels?
I've used other brands before, but I find these aren't as oily, and that I can get my blending much better with these drier ones. Now this has been the colour section. I've decided I'm going to do John just black and white, no colour in him at all. Even his flanny shirt that he's got on down here, all black and white.
Okay.
And I've got to make sure that my grey tones are all the same kind of greys, not cool grey. I'm using all warm greys here. So I'll just start with the top of his hat, get a rough outline. And some of these you might not even see because they're so light. But I tend just to get a basic outline of where I'm heading. And this is also where all my work slows down.
Yeah, you've done another one actually of your boy James, which I think you won a competition with, called the Red Pencil, and it's a black and white, but then there's that shock of red in there. It looks fantastic.
Yeah, that one's become a bit of a talking point.
Yeah.
Where people go, oh, I love the one that you've done with the red pencil. He's now on my business card, my avatar basically.
Yeah. And then your daughter.
My daughter, yes, I've done 3 of Sam.
Yeah.
In different stages. One where she was 3 years old, 9 years old, and then 13 years old.
That's great.
And that was all in one exhibition down in Camberwell.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't get a better subject than your own children. I can see dust falling down here from them, and if I'm using an intense colour here, sometimes it can actually stain what I'm doing. So I've got to get rid of this dust. You can tap it, you can blow on it, but I don't do that anymore because I accidentally spat on it one day. So I use this little foofer just to get it off.
Was that a puffer or a foofer?
It was a foofer.
Right, okay.
And it sends all the dust over throughout my entire studio. But don't worry about that. Just put on the skin tone with these. I've got a rough outline of where I'm heading, and I tend to work in kind of patches of colour or tones. I'm not looking at, I'm drawing the side of an ear. To me at the moment it's just a shape. And once again I'm seeing a lot of dust down there, so in comes Mr. Foofer. And he's gone.
And do you do that regularly with the foofer?
Regularly with the foofer.
Yeah.
Sometimes too, you put your hand on the piece of paper, and if you've got sweaty hands or something and then you try and go over it with the pastel, it will not take. So I've got this fantastic thing here where I can just rest my hand on it. Sometimes you tend to hold your breath when you're doing this as well. I said before too that I love doing people's hair. It's the same with eyes.
Well, Dave, with your past with wedding photography and also your business where you were doing retouch with Photoshop, you also did some fantastic work with your children in photographing them and turning them into fairies and putting them into these wonderful fantasy scenes. Tell me a bit more about that.
Yeah, I've always had the passion for macro photography. And I thought of photographing my kids and then on the computer just shrinking them down into like little fairies and goblins, and I was able to get them to fly by suspending them from a tree or lying on a table or something like that. And it was a load of fun for me and the kids themselves. Creating something where every kid wants to go, the fairies in the bottom of the garden kind of thing.
You're also a really accomplished seascape artist as well. You can see some of the lines in this piece that we've just got now called Cape Wallamai. That's a fantastic piece. It's like time motion has been captured and you've turned it into a painting.
Well, that one was a totally different technique to create that soft water because it was all blurry. Most of that was done with these thicker pastels where if you do need a sharp line on a pastel, you can just break it in half. And then you've got the edge of it to be quite sharp. But because that was blurry, you draw these sharp lines and then I just blurred it back again to get that motion of the water.
And you've got another one here called Stormfront. Now, it looks like you're either sitting in an aeroplane or there's a window somewhere there because you've got raindrops coming down on the inside. What's the story there?
I just felt like putting water into as if water had got behind the glass when it was framed.
Yeah, it's fabulous. And got one called 90 Miles. The sunlight in the back there and the waves crashing in on the shore. It's beautiful.
That was a fantastic time of day, that. It was about 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
It felt like it was minus 20 degrees, but I had the entire beach to myself.
So do you always put the eyes in first, or?
I do the shape of the eye.
Yeah.
And then build up shadows and I'll just put a bit of the dark tone into his eye and then you'll see, boom, here he comes. So just keep blending, adding colour here and there, and all of a sudden it's alive. But I can also see now, because I'm using this black, the black's running down his cheek. And if I leave that there, that will stain the colours underneath. So here comes Mr. Foofer, and it gets rid of it. So pastels is very messy, but I can also see I'm now blurring the outside of his eye in there. So I use the white pastel pencil and Mr. Foofer, and you can just bring in that very sharp edge around his eye.
Because your work takes so long to do, David, you have very kindly drawn another piece for us of the same subject.
Yes.
So what we might do is we might swap over to that one so we can get a continuum on what we're doing. You can explain a bit more about how we develop the character as well.
Okay.
All right, well, we've got the second piece up, David, and you've made some good progress on that. So let's continue on and develop that man's face.
Righto. I'm going to work around the mouth area, and he's got a nice little white bit just under the centre of his mouth. And as you can see again, I'm going from here to here to here. I'm not going in one place, but I'm continuing around the whole area of his mouth. I need to get a line, a darker line, underneath his chin. So for when I go the lighter hairs, they will go over the dark area, rather than having to go the other way around. I'm basically working just with 3 tones here. 4. A white, a black, and 2 lighter greys. And once again, all warm tones, no cold. The highlights, I'll use the white charcoal, which that gives you a very good, not sure if you can see that, but it gives you you can do 1 hair per time with it. That's when you can really get the fluff of the beard, the texture coming through. It gives it depth. Like all the little furry animals that I've done, as soon as you start doing this, you feel like you can just stick your hands in their fur, it looks so fluffy.
It's not just the furry animals that you've done, it's the feathered ones as well.
Yes.
You've got this really cool picture of a galah,
Oh, yeah.
and it's called Rainy Days, and you can see the rain, very Victorian day.
Yeah.
And you've another one, the dance in flight of the crimson rosellas.
Yes.
That looks great too.
That was only 2 birds in that.
Yeah.
They were having a bit of an argument while they were flying.
And you photographed them?
We just photographed in each stage, and
yeah.
it looked like they were having a dance rather than a battle.
Then you've got another one there called, which I really like because of the perspective in the focus, and it's the blue tongue lizard. You can see all the detail in the tongue.
Yes.
And then it just sort of starts to fade away either side. That looks great.
Yeah. Photographing that guy, that was fun.
Yeah.
You learn when they're going to go at you and where to focus.
Yep.
And if you focus on their eye, that when they open their mouth, that allows it to be focused at the back of their throat.
Uh-huh. Now, I also wanted to talk about the enormous project that you've got with Mount Rothwell.
Yes.
And putting together a mural for them. Now, how did that actually come about?
I went on a work conference up to a school camp at Blackwood, and one of the activities that we went on was a trip out to this place called Mount Rothwell. I'd never heard of them before, but they breed Australia's endangered wildlife. And as we were going around on our night tour, the young lady that was our tour guide, her enthusiasm was just phenomenal. I found it very inspiring, and it gave me an idea that to try and photograph their wonderful little creatures, because it looks like the creatures are just running around in the wild, because they've got about 1,000 acres that's fenced off, and part of it's fenced so stops our feral animals getting in there, like cats, foxes and rabbits. So a lot of these little creatures can live in safety. And I had the idea of drawing these creatures and having an exhibition, and from the sales I'd donate the money to Mount Rothwell to help them along. And when I sent an email out to them to ask about this, they were looking for an artist at the same time to create a piece of work. And one of my friends locally here, I asked him if he would want to come up and photograph these little guys with me. And we had a ball that day, photographing little spotted quolls, the bettongs and rock wallabies in their own environment. And I've drawn a couple of them, the rock wallaby, the spotted quoll, but also I'm painting this massive mural. And I came up with an image where, with all the photos that we took along our journey, this massive long panoramic image of how their tour starts from early evening to night time. It's a very big project, but it's a lot of fun creating it as well.
Yeah, it's 35 metres long, is that correct?
Yeah, 35 metres, yes.
Oh, that's a big piece of work, my goodness.
It's a challenge getting each sheet in here, because it's painted on to Zincalume, and each sheet is 3 metres by 1.5 high. And they're going to actually hang this piece, well, nail this piece of art on their breeding cages. So when the public go in to see the tour in the evening, they'll walk straight past this mural. And they'll be able to see what it's all about with the animals and everything there.
It's fantastic.
I'm going to move up the side of John's face now. I use the side of the pastel as well, so it's a little bit quicker.
It's amazing how quickly an effect that you can get with pastels, Mark.
Yes.
And doing what you're doing, you're covering a really big area quite quickly.
Also with the pencils that I used to do for 30 odd years, you wouldn't get this speed from it, not with a pencil. But the softness of the blend that you can get with the skin tones. That's one reason why I am a blender. It's so soft, and you can just keep applying it, like different pressures that I'm putting on the paper to get a different effect. The portrait I did a while ago of a friend of mine, he's called John as well. He doesn't have any hair on his head, but he was holding his little dog Pickles. That was a challenge, having never drawn a bald man before, and all the little textures on the top of his head, down the side of his face, was so different to what I'm used to. But then right beside him I had to draw his little dog who had a lot of hair.
Now also, David, you conduct workshops in your beautiful home. It's very spacious. My goodness, you could fit probably 30 people here, I think. It's in the Gippsland area as well. But if people wanted to get in touch with you about doing a workshop with you, I mean, you're so versatile, it'd be fantastic to sit down with you and go over all of the different things you do, landscapes, florals, animals. What's your website and how do people get to you?
Yes, they can get in contact with me via my website, davidalldridge.com.
Wonderful. All right, David, you've made some great progress there, but because of the detail that you put into your work, it's going to take quite some time to finish this off, but we've learnt so much from you today and seen your beautiful work. So I just wanted to thank you for having us in your studio. It's just wonderful.
Oh, thank you. It's been an absolute fantastic day.
All right, from the amazing studio of Mr. David Alldridge, you can see a fireplace, fantastic place to be. It has been very cold in Victoria and raining, but David, it was a fantastic time with you.
Thank you.
We had a great time. Right behind us is a section of the giant mural that David's working on as well for the wildlife group that he works with also. Plus there's somebody else that you wanted to say thank you to, and that's Mr. Dale Rogers as well.
Yeah, Dale provided the Cape Woolamai photo for me to draw. Big thank you for that fantastic image.
Yeah, he's a pretty amazing guy, and I've seen more of his work, and it's just, he does this time-lapse stuff with the ocean, and it's amazing stuff.
Yeah,
I think it's incredible.
Good skill.
Yeah, it's incredible. Once again, if somebody wants to come along, see your work and do your workshops,
davidalldridge.com.
Yeah, go in there and have a look at Dave. And he's got a fantastic area, a beautiful, huge home, and the studio is amazing. You could fit 30 people in here alone, which would be incredible. So if that's on your bucket list and you want to come down to this area of Victoria, the Latrobe Valley area, pop in and say hi. Come and see us, as always, at Facebook. And also go and have a look at our YouTube channel as well. Subscribe on the YouTube channel. We really do have a lot of people in there these days, and they are getting a lot out of it. We get fantastic comments all the time on what you guys are doing. And also our website, which is colourandyourlife.com.au. Come in and join up as a member. We have some fantastic things going on these days. A lot of the other artists are actually starting to do their own videos with us these days, the ones that we've filmed, and they're putting them into our system as well, which makes more information for you guys and more for our members, which is great. But we're going to get out once again into this cold, rainy, wet Victorian afternoon and head to our next destination. But I had a great time. And as we always say, remember guys, make sure you put some colour in your life, and we'll see you again from Victoria sometime. See you guys. Bye now. Bye.